So have you ever thought about being a scientist? Hear from Leticia Arrington, who will talk about being a senior scientist at Merck Research Labs, who will talk to you about her story to get to where she is.
Hello, and good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today to share with you my story about where I am and how I got here. My name is Leticia Arrington, and I'm a senior scientist at Merck Research Laboratories in the Philadelphia area. When I was younger and I would be asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was very certain. I wanted to be a lawyer, a scientist, an environmentalist, and also a magician. Yes, a magician. My parents were very supportive of all of those things, but at some point I did decide to give up the magician part and just focus on the science part. I started out just like many of you, enjoying my science and math classes, attending events like these, and also participating in my school and city science fairs. It wasn't until my senior year in high school when I was working in a pharmacy as a pharmacy technician, filling prescriptions, helping the pharmacist with the customers, that I started to really think about and develop what would be eventually my career path. I knew I was interested in medicine and pharmacy, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to work in retail or in a hospital setting for a pharmacy background. So I started to think more about the path of research, and that led me to pharmaceutical sciences. I began to research different colleges and universities that had really great pharmaceutical science programs. I applied for college, waited for my acceptance, and I also applied for financial aid and academic scholarships to help fund my college education. So once I got accepted, I was off to college, and the college experience is one that I will never forget. It was an enriching experience. It was character building, make lifelong friends, and it really builds the foundation for your future. Some courses that I took were physics, organic chemistry, pharmacology, anatomy, genetics, and many more, along with some labs. But the most important experience that I had in college was an internship that I did at a pharmaceutical company. Internships allow you to get experience in the job field, gain new skills, and meet with people in the field of study while you're still in school. So this was just another step in the right direction for me. So after I graduated college with my bachelor's degree in pharmaceutical sciences, I moved right to the city of the company that gave me my first opportunity in the internship, and that happened to be Philadelphia. And I started working right at that company that I did the internship at. So everything came full circle there. So I started off my career as an analytical chemist in the lab. Yes, I had on a white lab coat, safety goggles. I was pipetting and pouring and beakers and test tubes, the whole thing. But while I was working, I also thought to myself, I found value in going back to school yet again. And this time I wanted to pursue my master's degree in pharmacology. So I did this while working. I would work during the day, and in the evenings I would study. I would drive into the city to take my courses and also do my lab work and research. And what was nice at the time, I was working at a company that offered tuition reimbursement, which means that as an employee of this company, they would help me pay for my education. So I worked as a chemist for about 10 years and then decided I wanted my career to go in a slightly different direction and focus on the degree that I had in pharmacology. So I transitioned to a role as a clinical pharmacokineticist and pharmacometrics, which is the role that I'm doing now. So I do want to share just a little bit about what that looks like. So sometimes individuals in my job role can be referred to as clinical pharmacokineticist, pharmacometrician, or even drug development scientist. And what we do is we design pharmaceutical drug clinical trials, and we interpret and analyze the data from those. Some aspects of the data that we're interested in, of course, are related to the pharmacokinetics, which is the study of what the body does to the drug, meaning how the drug moves through the body, and it is absorbed, metabolized, and eliminated, what the time course looks like, and then pharmacodynamics, which is the study of what the drug does to the body. For example, you have a headache, you take an ibuprofen, and the headache subsides, and that is a pharmacodynamic effect. And in pharmacometrics, what we do is we apply these mathematical models to interpret and describe these processes that I described here and the relationships between them, as well as the biology and to understand the disease and many more things that we're looking into. And we use data analysis, software tools, computer programming. We're essentially data scientists. And we work on really large teams with doctors and other scientists, statisticians, and more to develop safe medicines and improve lives and treat disease. Some of our key questions are, what's the safety of the drug? How safe is it? What's the beneficial effect of the drug? How much drug is present? How much drug has the body seen? And with all of this information, what do we know more about the drug today that we didn't know before? And what can we do moving forward? So I gotta say, I love my job. I love my career and I love where my path has taken me. And when I think back to when I was 16 years old, working in the pharmacy, and I was describing to myself what this job was that I wanted and why I was going to school, it turns out I was actually describing the exact job that I do now. And I just didn't really know the name for it back then. And so now I've went to school directly after high school, went to industry, then went back to school for my graduate degree, went back to industry, and yet again, I have made another decision a few years ago to go back to school again, this time for my PhD in pharmacometrics. And another opportunity presented itself that now I'm even able to study abroad, and I'm pursuing this degree at a university in the country of Sweden. So my path through education and career wasn't really the traditional or typical way to do things, but I enjoyed every step of the way. And there are many people doing it this way too. Of course, yes, sometimes things didn't go the way that I planned it to go. There were some challenges and obstacles that I had to work through, and it wasn't really clear every step that I would take. But as I learned more information, I updated my plan and I was able to forge my path. I met people along the way that inspired me and guided me, and I was really open to the possibilities. So I leave you with this. Be inquisitive, ask questions, and never stop learning. Talk to people in the field you're interested in, and even those that you may not even know anything about. You never know what you could learn. Take opportunities to job shadow, attend events like this, programs and internships. Also make sure to check out scholarships and financial aid to help you fund your education. There are so many opportunities available to you, and you just have to seek them out. The journey may not always be a straight path, but if you stay focused on what it is that you're striving for, you will find a way to get there. You just have to keep going. So I say goodbye to you now. I say enjoy the rest of the show and the talks, and hopefully you get energized and you start thinking about what your potential future could look like. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day.